What is up, my freaking flyers? Dr. Darren here, president of the PHAST Foundation. Oh, here's the week 3 video. So excited to share this with you. We got a lot of stuff done. We were able to get water finally to the building so that we could run concrete saws. We were able to take down the inside of the mysterious bank vault. We had our largest demo day turnout yet. Over 30 people showed up, man. It was phenomenal. Kids and adults, and amazingly talented and skilled workers, but also had people that had no experience at all. They just wanted to help, and I love it, and it just made my heart swell. Was able to roughly measure the course and distance of the green track. Pretty excited how long it actually is. Also, contacted the elevator company and figured out just how hosed we are with these 2 service elevators. Gonna be a challenge, but I love it. Got into a few precarious cutting situations, during which I was asking myself if I was gonna be my own ER patient. Anyways, I hope you enjoy. Please consider subscribing. And remember, kindness is currency. Here comes week 3. Let's do the dang thing. We started right where we left off, back at the shelves. Now, the first hour or so, we just had a few people. But then, all of a sudden, boom! People started flooding in from everywhere. That's when the work started moving like crazy. Nails, shelves. We had to take down additional metal shelves. We're trying to figure out different ways that we can use these shelves. We're thinking behind the check-in desk for rental equipment. We might give them out. I don't know. Somehow we might be able to incorporate them into some of the biking features. I'm not sure. But these aren't your run-of-the-mill IKEA shelves. These are pre-World War I era shelving units, and they are made to last. Now, after these volunteers made absolute light work of the main entry-level floor, we shifted up to the rear east portion of the building, where one of the intermediate sections will be. Small kickers and maybe some mountain bike log features. As you can see, there is a leak problem on the roof. Now, what is amazing about this building is that the roof is actually concrete and steel. So they actually formed and poured concrete for their roof. It's unbelievable. But there are a few points where it's leaked through. So we'll have to do a patch-up job, and then over the years, save up enough money to do a complete TPO roof covering. Now, this is Ruthie, my 4th daughter. Her nickname is Rudini because she disappears all the time. Now, she is my little helper and is always around, so keep an eye out for her. Now, of course, if you come to help out, you're going to be fed. Look at that spread of pizzas. Now, as it inconveniently does in the winter, it started to get pretty dark pretty early. And after getting whacked upside the head and the nose by a board that I knocked down and couldn't see coming, thought it was probably pretty safe to call it a night, which is a bummer because we were cooking. All right, brothers, we got the city here, turning on the water. That's what I'm talking about. So if we get the water, we can get the bathroom running, and we can get water so we can cut concrete. Oh goodness, we got some good men doing some good work. Get the water going so we can go in el baño. So here's an old bathroom. Now we finally got water. I had the city come and they gave me a new valve. Here's the water pump. And then a spigot that I can use to run water you run the concrete saw. They disconnected it from the main line just as a temporary fix. But what I was told is that this is a lead pipe and there is a leak right there. Looks like they tried to tape it and cinch it, but it is still leaking, as you can see. Anyways, but I guess lead pipes are a no-no. So that's a big curveball, because now they have to punch through the wall, and they're gonna have to drill an entire new line that is non-lead and up to code. And because I don't have heating, I've got this little space heater directly at it. Hitting the heat waves right there, and then shut the door and keep this room kind of somewhat increase in temperature, so the source of water that I do have does not freeze or bust, because if that breaks, that's a big problem. Now, in Mihai Csikszentmihalyi's bestseller book, Flow, an amazing book I highly recommend, he describes one of the secrets to happiness and enjoying the most out of life is figuring out how to make a game out of the most menial tasks. For instance, getting hoses down to the lower level. Yeah, I could carry them down the stairs, but acting like a FIFA player is a lot more fun. Goal! Eyeballing the distance from the faucet to where we'd be using the concrete cutter, I figured we need about 200, 300 feet of hose. Went down to the local hardware store and got about 450 feet of hose. My estimations were about right. We had enough left after stretching it out to have enough slack to try to toss it up. And in true poetic fashion, the third time was definitely the charm. Today is going to be a good day. We have water, we have hose, we have motivation. Got the plans to cut cement floor off between the back mid-level floor. That's the plan today. Now, the first thing I plan on doing is drilling through with some pilot holes, mainly to make sure that I was about a 1/4 inch away from the I-beams that was underneath. So we took measurements between the edge of the pre-existing gap and where I would cut the new gap, and then drilled the pilot holes. This gave me a line to follow with a concrete saw, also ensured that there was no underlying beam that I'd be cutting into, and overall, more importantly, it just allowed me to use one of my tools that I love. There's just something gratifying about destroying something that seems so indestructible as concrete and rebar. Now, originally I hadn't planned on taking any more shelves down today, but as I made my pilot holes, my line was too close and it would have been really tight to run the concrete saw. So it was just an amazing excuse to do some more destruction. Csikszentmihalyi's book, Flow, he talks about people, professionals, and people that are at the absolute apex of their profession or task, reaching these states of flow where they are operating at such a seamless level that they reach this state that he calls flow. Now, I want to argue that sometimes doing mindless menial tasks, such as taking down shelves, it can also contain these elements of flow. And it can be therapeutic, it can be cathartic, it can be actually stress relieving and endorphin release. I've really come to appreciate these repetitive tasks that seem to show very little progress at first, but incredible results after sticking with it. Here's the pre-existing hole that we're going to expand, and I just thought a very interesting upside down dizzying view. I feel like this is what Spider-Man's view is of the world when he's out fighting crime. Or better yet, Homer Simpson's Spider Pig. Man, I love these I-beams. I hope none of the bikers ever have this view. After coming out of the main kind of skills area, we're punching a hole through that wall, and then the green track will run right against this wall, and it will take these two down, okay? And then it'll come right here. Starting about right there, there will be a ramp that goes up right there to that point. All right, I got the gas beauty marks. Anyways, so there's been something that I've really wanted to kind of sneak in here and there, and it's how I can use the safe. And I've been trying to think out, what can I use for the safe? Obviously, you're thinking a monetary thing, but we're not gonna have basically any money. Probably the only thing that we're gonna have a value for the FAST is our editing software, our computer, and maybe the records. So I think I'm gonna turn this safe into a recording studio. It's gonna be completely walled off. It's 3.5 foot thick based on the diagrams and the blueprints. It's gonna be pretty soundproof. Then we'll put up some of those sound dampening pads and stuff like that. So that's gonna be pretty sweet. Anyways, yeah, I wanted to make it into like a podcast interview room. So this will be a dedicated space that I can interview people throughout the community. People can interview me, and we can be in the Fast Tracks building, but have an isolated, cool space. And hello, it's gonna be in a safe. That's awesome. I don't know if I should call it a podcast yet. I've got a few ideas. What are some of your ideas for the podcast that we can record in our bake vault? What do you think? Put it down below. Now, I already done the combo. And so now, what I'm gonna do is take these out. Now I can smell some moisture, and I think, yeah, so there's that. Right there, and so obviously there's a leak up the top. I mean, there's lots of leaks in this building. Let's not kid ourselves. It looks like there's some little water pooling right there. So we'll definitely have to figure some stuff out. But I got safety deposit boxes, and they all work. I got the keys right here. Ah la la. So that's pretty sweet. So let's get to it. Maybe like the editing computer right there. And so it's recessed. And then yes, you know, there's just enough room for like a nice chair and a nice chair. Definitely have reverb in here. So we'll definitely have to put up the patches, but definitely have a room chair there, and maybe a camera set up here with it angled downward. Yeah, wide angle lens. Woo! I think this is gonna work great. This definitely reminds me of like one of those old school police interrogation lamps. Where were you on the night of 17th of September at 3 p.m.? Kind of ominous, like sway. We might have to update that. This is gonna be sweet. I'm excited. Yeah, probably a new paint job, right? Or should we keep it like this scary looking cell color? I like how someone at one point decided to paint this. Like this is an internal pillar, and they painted it inside of a safe room. You think this was maybe a child's bedroom at one point? They're still out on what the main purpose of this was. Anywho, time to go.
Now, you remember how we talked about doing mundane tasks, making it a game? You know, you could always carry a chainsaw with a wheelbarrow, or maybe even your hands. But I opted for the carrying it with the chin method. A tried and true method passed on to me from generations before. Now I promise, I seriously got around to working a little.
So today we're gonna be cutting this out. Got the concrete saw, jackhammer, and it's gonna happen. Let's do it.
Now this is where I really started second guessing my decisions in life yet again. And I started hearing my wife's voice and my emergency medicine education voice, my Eagle Scout training all kick in at once. And then the immature Y chromosome repeating in my mind, you only have 45 minutes left of this rental. You got to get this done. And got or did done, we did it. Man, it felt amazing. And there she blows in all its glory. You can see the two I-beams shaped in the T that we still have yet to cut. This will give us perfect head clearance. Here's another view from the entry-level deck floor. Just another view to see where I was suspended above the chaos. Now you can't tell me all that concrete dust almost makes it look like fog coming out of a football stadium tunnel. It's kind of like the ending credit scenes at the end of any one of those sports stories where the underdog who wasn't supposed to be able to play ends up scoring the last touchdown. I felt victorious, that's for dang sure.
Oh, that was a doozy! All right, baby, that was week 3. We got a lot of stuff done, some that were critical to the progression and some things that were just kind of fun, like the safe. I was pretty excited about that. Anyways, here comes week 4, baby. Knuckles, noggin, butterfly kisses, squid fingers.